Your website can look like it costs $50,000 and still feel cheap. And a store built on a $500 Shopify theme can feel more premium than a brand with $2 million ad budget. It's not a design problem, it's a psychology problem. Premium isn't a price tag on your homepage. It's not a cinematic hero video or a 5-figure photo shoot, for banners all over your website. Premium is a perception, and perceptions can be engineered, not by spending more, but by understanding a handful of psychological mechanics and building them directly into your website. And today I want to show you exactly what that looks like. Commodity brands sell function, right? Think about 100% cotton, machine washable, true to size, right? Premium brands sell identity. Who does this make you when you're actually wearing it? On your homepage, that's the difference between headline listing fabric weight and a headline that tells the visitor who they're becoming when they wear your item. This is a quick self check for you, right? Go to your homepage right now, read your headline out loud, whatever you have on your hero, and I want you to ask, does it actually describe the product or does it describe the person who owns that product? If it's a product, you're selling a commodity. No matter what you charge, you're not premium. Now look at Aimé Leon Dore. Their site copy barely talks about fabric weight. It talks about queens, basketball courts, Greek coffee. You're not buying a hoodie, you're buying into that specific world. And that product, when you buy that product, that's just your entry ticket to becoming and being part of that particular world. Before we move on, I want to say my name is Christian Pignon, co-founder of Bit Branding. We've rebuilt and optimized Shopify stores for clothing brands since 2015. And the pattern is always the same, right? Brands spend on photo shoots, fonts, animations, and skip the thing that actually makes the website feel premium. So let's continue to number 2. If your store runs a site-wide discount every single week, your price stops meaning anything. So visitors stop trusting the number on the tag because they've learned it's never really the final price. Premium sites treat price as confidence, not a negotiation. So that means that there are fewer permanent sale banners throughout the site. There are fewer countdown timers, stacked on every single product page. And they have copy that frames price as an investment, right? Something that actually holds value instead of a cost that you're trying to justify. And we're not saying that, we're completely against promotions. You can still definitely run promotions. Just stop training your customers to wait for a big promotion. And I think just to kind of give you some examples, Chrome Hearts is, I would say, the extreme version of this. The brand almost never marks anything down, like literally full stop. That refusal to discount is a big part of why the price still means something, even to people who think it's outrageous. And we're not saying that you have to go to those extremes, but there is a good sweet spot to premium brands when it comes to pricing. All right, up next. A countdown timer screaming buy now is urgency. It's not scarcity, and customers can feel that difference. Real scarcity on Shopify can look like the following. It could be a limited drop. It could be a real, true, genuine wait list. It could be a notify me when back in stock instead of a clearance banner. I do think sold out that's actually framed well builds more desire than a 20% off ever will. It actually, to me, signals demand, right? A permanent discount signals the complete opposite. If you look at Supreme, for example, every Thursday they have a new drop. There's no restock promise, no back by popular demand. When they're gone, they're just gone. That weekly scarcity has been their entire engine of that brand for years, and it's still running to this day, and it works really well for them. All right, up next, effort signals quality, right? We assume things that show visible effort are actually worth more. And what does this look like? On a website, it could be your about page talking about how the product's actually made. That could be a product description that mentions construction details instead of just listing sizes. That's a note on a longer than average shipping times framed as this is a made to order and not something that you apologize for, right? If your site shows zero process and zero story, you're asking customers to trust the price with just nothing to justify. If you want an example, Bode built its whole brand on that particular thing. Product pages and lookbooks tell the story of the actual vintage textiles each piece is cut from. You're not just buying a jacket, you're buying the story or where that fabric came from. And that story is doing a lot of the pricing work, right? And that's where it really becomes very important. And I talked to this with a lot of our members in our community, that you don't have the luxury, right, of some of these other brands that maybe they are established and maybe people do know kind of like what they're worth and the fact that they are premium brands. But for you, you're just getting started. Nobody knows who you are. You have to do a lot of heavy lifting, especially on the website where that transaction is going to happen. And where that transaction usually happens is the product page. And that's the page that you have to treat a little bit differently, and you have to add more information that you probably have right now. Talking about the product, going in depth about benefits, talking about the brand in itself, right? If you think about it, people will go to, I think it's 1.5 pages on your website on average, right? So if they land on a product page and all you talk about on the product page is what you're talking about right now, product pictures, a little description, and then you go into you may also like, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. You need to treat that page completely different. All right, next up, Restraint creates memory. We tend to remember what stands out. And in e-commerce right now, what stands out is Restraint. Let me explain. Every store is stacking some of the 5 same apps, right? A spin to win pop-up, maybe a sticky add to cart bar, 3 trust badges at the bottom, countdown timer, and maybe a little chat bubble here on the side with an AI that's gonna find any product that you want. That's on every single page. Premium sites, they do less. They use white space. They have one clear call to action per page. A home page is just not something that it's fighting for attention in multiple fronts. There's a clear indication of where the customer needs to go once they land on that particular page. If your website looks like everyone else's, App Store checklist, it doesn't matter how good the product is, it just reads as a commodity site by default. And that's totally fine. There's plenty of brands that are doing commodity, they're doing really well. But if you want premium, you have to do this differently. The row is, I think, the most extreme version of this. There's barely any copy. There's huge amounts of white space, product photography that it could pass for literally like a museum catalog. There's really no pop-ups, no countdowns. There's no sticky bar. I feel like the complete opposite of what a typical Shopify, website should look like. And that's exactly why it reads premium. Like they're doing less, and by doing less, they're doing more. And sometimes, like, even looking at things like the product page, like they may still have the right elements and they're talking about the right things, but they're doing it in a way where it is very succinct, it's very minimalistic, and it looks completely different than your next Shopify theme. Number 6, identity alignment. This is the one that most founders, I think, get backwards, right? Premium brands aren't trying to appeal to everyone who visits the website. They're actually very comfortable being wrong for most people, because that's what makes the right people feel like they found something built for them. So on your website, that could show up in the photography, it could show up in the brand voice, it could be who's actually modeling the product. Your visuals and copy could belong to literally any clothing brand. If your visuals and copy could belong to literally any clothing brand, you haven't built an identity, you've essentially built a template. You've been following maybe someone else. So if your visuals and copy are speaking to that one person directly, then you're doing something right. Patagonia does this on purpose. Like, if you go to their homepage, they talk about environmental activism as much as they talk about, jackets and shoes and all that. They're openly fine with potentially turning some customers off, right? Because for the people that actually matter, they actually become fiercely loyal, because the website is clearly not trying to be for everyone. They're trying to be for someone very specific. I know I'm talking about a lot of different psychological principles, and if you're not sure, right, which one of these your site is actually doing, or maybe the exact one that you need to double down on, that's why we do these free strategy calls. We can talk about all these things. You just have to click on the link in the description below. There's a free 45-minute session that you can do with us. Now let's move on to the next one, the big mistake. And I think the biggest mistake that every brand makes when trying to go premium is they copy the aesthetic, and I think they skip the mechanics. And I think if you've watched some of my videos, we've even talked about that, where you'll see things where premium brands tend to, for example, use more of the white space, right? Their fonts tend to be a little bit smaller. You can copy the aesthetics, but then there's also another layer, and that's the actual mechanics of it. Same goes with like black and white photography, right? An elegant serif font, a minimal logo, right? All of it with zero scarcity, zero restraint anywhere else on the site, and a site-wide discount code in the header. Like, customers are gonna feel that disconnect, right? In about 2 seconds. Even if they can't truly name it, like it it looks expensive, but then it just doesn't feel premium, right? And it's gonna convert like every other mid-tier store in your category. So this is one of those things where like if you want actual help engineering this into your store, it's not the visuals, right? It's the pricing, it's the drop structure, it's the whole positioning, and that all needs to work together. All right, I'll close this video by saying that premium was never about the price tag. It's about whether every part of your website, the copy, the pricing, the photos, the page, is telling the same story about who this is for. You have to fix that. You don't need a bigger budget. You just need better mechanics. All right, subscribe if this was useful, and I'll see you in the next video, which we'll be talking about apps actually.